Durham on the 22nd.
Stacy said she'll be here on time, so we don't have to hold anything.
Excellent.
Maybe she's here. Texting me.
Excellent.
So let's,
So we'll do,
yeah.
Beth will do donations, and then public comment, and then town manager's report. Okay.
But there's a couple of other questions I have.
Cam, let me know when we're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. We'll call ourselves to order then. Good evening. Welcome to the Select Board meeting of Monday, July 14th. Best deal day, as it turns out. I am Chair Michelle Pryor, joined by Vice Chair Anthea Brady and members Paris Barani, Mike Betancourt, our town manager Beth Rudolph, and member Bill McGonigal is on the phone. This evening, we are delighted to have some students here from Saint-Germain-en-Laye. We're going to have you all come up and report on your summer experience in a minute, but we're going to go through the agenda, do our acceptance of donations, then invite public comment, of which we'll have our students come up and share some of their experiences. Then we'll move into the town manager's report and do the rest of our meeting agenda as published. So with that, if we can start with donations, I would appreciate it.
Move that we accept with gratitude a donation of $20,000 from the Cummings Foundation to the Winchester Coalition for a Safer Community for FY26 expenses.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Move that we accept with gratitude a donation of $5,693.50 to the Council on Aging in appreciation of services at the annual symposium.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move that we accept with gratitude a donation of $13,720 from the EEC Stabilization Grant for Kid Connection RAP EEC childcare license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Move that we accept with gratitude a donation of $712 for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors Fund at the Recreation Department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Other than our international students, is anybody else here for public comment? And if you are, raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, I'd like to invite you up to the table if you could. Grab a seat if you need to bring one in. Okay, just have a seat here. Yep, right at the end of the table, and we were just going to have you introduce yourselves and what you're doing this summer. And we introduced ourselves as well, but and if you would like to maybe share any comments.
Yes, I would. This year, Winchester has been sister city with Saint-Germain-en-Laye for 35 years. And we do a fair amount of exchanges over the years, both students and adults. We've had a very nice relationship. And so each year we have young college students come over and they volunteer, okay? And so we have Melissa Dubois, and she's working in Michael Day's office, or she's volunteering in Michael Day's office. And we have Mathilde, yes. And she volunteers at Bookends. Okay. And their host families are here also. So we have Gina Alteris and Lance Grensbeck, and they're their host families.
Thank you for hosting our students.
Yes.
Great.
And so I'll have them speak to what they're doing.
Yep.
And and whatever they would like to stay for a while.
Thank you. If you have any questions for us, we can wrap up with that as well. But
Do you want me to start?
yeah.
So my name is Melissa. I'm 19 years old. I live in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, and I'm a future sophomore in a political science university, which is Sciences Po. And so I'm very happy to be here. And so I'm currently doing an internship with Michael Day. So I'm going three days a week in the State House of Boston. And it's very, very interesting to learn how the legislators have their, like how the process works here to make the law. So I think it was my main interest to compare how the US and France do their lawmaking process. So I'm very, very grateful that I was I was selected to do this internship, and I'm very happy Lance and Joanne hosted me here. So and every day in the State House, I am often asked to do some summaries of bills, this kind of task, and it's very interesting. Everyone is very nice and welcoming with me, so I'm very glad to be here.
Great.
So I'm Mathilde Tamagno. I'm 18 years old, and next year I will study law in La Sorbonne, so in Paris. So I'm volunteering in Books and I'm doing 5 years a week, and it's like from 11 to 4 o'clock. They are really nice. I can meet Winchester citizens mostly. I can speak to them, maybe sometimes advise them, but I'm not really that qualified to advise them, so maybe I will ask like a colleague. Yeah, because I don't know that much of like American literature, but I can discover like new things. I can discover the city too, because I'm like in the center of Winchester. It's been really nice. I'm really glad that I'm here today and for two more weeks. Yeah. So I'm really grateful. I love that I was chosen for the jumelage, and I thank you, Gina, for like hosting me for 3 weeks. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Do you have any questions for us?
Do you?
How town government works, which is a little different from the legislature?
That would be very interesting.
Yes, I would love to know that.
I'm gonna let my colleagues correct me if I get something wrong here. And also, Mr. Grunzebach's an ace in the hole too, so he can tell you later. So we have, as you know, the legislature at the state level. We have the executive branch at the federal level. So the select board is the executive branch for the town of Winchester.
Okay.
And the 5 of us are elected. Bill on the phone. So we make policy decisions, we set things like water rates and tax rates, and then we hire a town manager who manages the day-to-day operations of the town and town hall. And she does not run the town school system, but is responsible for the roads, the sidewalks, the police, the fire, all the things that go on, birth certificates and paying taxes and all those things. So we make policies, the town manager executes on those policies and those objectives for us, and then our legislative body in Winchester is a representative town meeting. So like our legislature are 192 residents, 24 per precinct, and we meet twice a year for 3 or 4 nights for as long as it takes to get through the business. So that body adopts the bills like that you're reading at Town Hall. They adopt zoning law, they adopt other bylaws, they approve the budget, just like we just saw at the State House that just approved the budget. That's our town meeting. That's not this body.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody want to add more to how we're organized. It's a little bit unique in New England, I think, with the town meeting, as opposed to maybe a city council, a mayor. A mayor is more common in France.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yes.
So a bigger city like Boston would have what you probably would have in Paris, right? A mayor who is directly elected, and then that would be kind of the town manager and the select board combined.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Boston or New York would have that.
Without that town meeting of 192 of your neighbors debating, ordinances and things. So I'll turn over to Mike or Beth or Anthea, but that's sort of how we're organized.
Yeah, no, that I think you covered it. That was good. Thank you so much for coming and being here. And I know how much fun you're having over in Rep Day's office. You work with my daughter Grace, who
Yes, I do.
loves working with you. So
She has been so nice to me, and she did all the train with me, all the things.
Great.
She made me discover everything, and so she presented me to everyone. She was so great. So
You got an ace in the
Very
hole
good.
right
well,
there.
try to
Yeah, seriously.
keep her in line over there because she has a lot of opinions. So,
Yes, indeed.
But it's great to have both of you here. Thank you so much
thank
for
you very
coming.
much.
It's an
Thank
honor
you
for
very
us.
much.
Did you want to do a picture with the board?
Yes.
Would you like that?
Yes. Can we go over there and
Sure. That's usually part of your visit, is you get a photo.
My photographer here will take our picture.
All right, we can do that. You want us back here? Tell me where we're going. Students have to be in the front. You are the guests of honor, after all.
Oh, so grateful.
C'est là. Ok.
Were you all in fitting, I hope?
So, Andy, can I ask you just a little? Yeah. No, you stay. Andy, I'm behind you. I don't want a half a face. I want a full one.
Good. Must have had your eyes open.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your stay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and good luck.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love all those water rates.
Don't be rude if you leave. Thanks for coming in. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you. Yes, take care.
Okay. And now then, we will go back to the agenda to the town manager's report.
Sure. Thank you. So just a few updates. A lot of them are construction related. First up, the transfer station, we have implemented a commercial hauler pilot program that was previously approved by the board effective July 1st. The chair and vice chair and I met with staff from the DPW to talk about the metrics by which that program will be evaluated once it comes to conclusion towards the end of October. So included in the board's packet is a copy of that memo from DPW, and they'll be starting to evaluate and measure those things over the summer and fall. Construction updates. So as anybody who's been in and around Town Hall or the library has seen, we've been doing quite a bit of work both on our walkways at both buildings, and now we have the parking lot behind Town Hall completely ripped up as we complete some ADA improvements in that area. The lot is expected to remain closed through July 24th. During that time, there is no handicap accessible access to Town Hall, so we are asking visitors if they do need ADA access to the building to please park across the street and give us a call, and staff will come out, or to call ahead, and we'll figure out how we can work with you to work with you on your need here for service at Town Hall. The Morocco School Life Extension project is underway. We have started abatement work to remove the existing carpet in the building. We have ordered the new carpet tiles and flooring material, and we have a vendor under contract who will be ready to install those once the abatement work is complete. We've also completed the moving activities to move materials out of the classrooms that are being abated, and there are also painting activities going underway. And we have Gale Associates under contract for the exterior building condition assessment. Can I ask some questions on that?
Sure.
So there was a question that had come from MESPA with a couple of the other point things, which were the sinks. Yep. Adding the installation on the overhang, those 3 or 4 classrooms, and then an air conditioning installation. Are there any updates on so those? The sink work, there is abatement work that's required to remove those sinks. That abatement work will be happening this summer, and the facilities director and school operations manager are working on putting a package together to bid the sinks. I think we've kind of been honest all along that we weren't sure that work would be done in time for the start of school, so that is still ongoing. The AC unit and the insulation work were not time critical summer work, so we have focused on the pieces of the work that needed to get done this summer to be able to get students back in the classrooms, but the insulation work and the AC units will be kind of the next phase ongoing work. Yep.
And will those happen during the year, or will those wait for a break?
I don't have exact details on that. I think they can both happen probably during the school year, though. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm pleased to report that the town has just received notice from Mass DOT that we had submitted. I think we had the consultant in before the board maybe 3 or 4 months ago to talk about the Sims Corner reconstruction project, that we had submitted a project funding request for MassDOT for that project to be programmed in the TIP. We've just been notified that the project is eligible for TIP funding. It is not programmed, so that just because it's eligible doesn't mean we have the money, but it is now eligible for us to move forward. The town, for projects that are eligible for TIP funding, the town is responsible for paying for the full design costs as well as any right-of-way costs if there are temporary or permanent easements or taking. So the engineering department has submitted capital requests for 25% design plans for that project. I think it's around $300,000. And then as we move forward, we can work with the the MPO to have that programmed on the tip. It is. It can be a long project process that can take some patience. I've had 2 projects since I've been here that have been funded through the TIP, and they both took several years to be funded. But it is the first step in the process. So it's
What actually is the work? If you have like a presentation, you can send me afterwards. That's fine too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's basically just reconfiguring the
Sims
Sims Corner rotary so that it's a little bit.
Shifting, really.
It's not removing the rotary, but it is
Shifting it to be more like a rotary and changing some of the approaches. Because right now people come flying up Bacon Street,
Right.
so shifting the rotary closer to Bacon and Main, or sort of make it Bacon and Main merge, and I think making like clear access points.
Yes. And again, we're like in the pre-concept level stage, I would say, at this point. So there's not a kind of a firm plan, but the idea is that the rotary would remain in some way, and there would be some additional stop controls at other intersections. Some other project updates. The Winchester High School gym floor project is moving forward. That project is expected to be complete in November. Lynch School traffic calming projects are moving forward over this summer and hopefully will be substantially complete before school starts back up. The Gidfield lighting project, the construction is underway for that, and that should be completed by the end of July. The Town Hall library roof, library window, Town Hall clock tower project, as I previously mentioned to the board, we did not have enough funds. We did bid the project with an alternate for the Town Hall roof and bell tower work, and so we are not able to award that alternate, and we'll be going back to capital for additional funding for that project. But the work on the library windows and the library roof is expected to start this November and be complete next spring. Work on the McCall and Ambrose school roofs project is expected to start up this week. The Winchester High School concrete floor repairs are currently ahead of schedule, and that work should be substantially complete by Labor Day. We've just awarded the contract to start construction for the Shore Road culvert work later this month. I don't have a schedule for that in terms of when that project will be complete, but I would expect it would go into the fall. And then finally, we have DPW is starting to install the basis for the rapid flashing beacons on Highland Ave at Wolcott, as well as at the Mystic School at Main Street. They're also working on installing the electrical service for the flashing beacon to go in at Children's Zone School on Main Street. And then, as I mentioned at the last meeting, we have received the grant from the state for the rapid flashing beacon to go in at Cox and Johnson Road, but we don't expect that unit to be in until September. I think that's all I had.
All right, and I would be remiss without acknowledging that Beth made us aware last week that she intends to move on. Her last day will be Wednesday, September 3rd, so we'll have Beth for a few more select board meetings, and I think we'll save some of the really glowing things for later in August,
Thank
Beth.
you.
But
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And select board published a letter with Beth's approval last week, just really highlighting maybe not even half of what she's done in her 20-odd years, but we're sad to see you go, Beth.
Thank you.
And thank you for continuing to write the reports and doing all the things between now and then. We're grateful for that. Any questions on Beth's report? Okay. Next up, I didn't see any more public wonder, and the comptroller's report. Anybody have, and I'm not going to call Stacy up unless people have questions, because we'll have Stacy and Sheila come up and we're doing borrowing and bonds. Any questions on the comptroller's report? We want to ask Stacy now. Anyone on the board? Okay. We do not have a public hearing. Okay, so the next up is Eagle Scout. Matthew, if you could join us at the table. We're going to take up your Eagle Scout project. Thank you for your slides. Thanks for offering to do this. Do you want to show your presentation, or?
It can't be through that, but I do have what you sent us to the board.
Yeah, could you pull that up? That'd be great. It'll be a minute. That's okay.
No, I can't,
No.
because Bill's on the phone. So,
Can we?
We can only do one high technology thing at a time.
yes, because it will call.
And then we have to shut the lights off if we hit.
I mean, I could do it and see what happens. If you get disconnected, you can just call us back.
You want me to call him on my cell phone?
Well,
Bill?
Bill will get you back
Bill
if
already
we
left.
lose you.
If this is the number to call back, then we'll call this number back.
Okay, so let me just give it a
Okay.
try and see what happens.
Okay. So Matthew, while we pull this up, if you could introduce yourself and maybe why you're interested in this project or why you picked what you did and how you're doing in your Eagle Scout journey while we get your slides up. So if you wanted to maybe start with that.
All right, so wait, does this work?
Yeah,
why
pull a
don't you
little bit
that
closer
door,
to
too?
yourself. That'd be great.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Matthew's son. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a Life Scout, which is one below Eagle. And so why I picked this project? Well, I think I didn't realize Elliott Park lost its picnic table, and also my Eagle Scout, my Scoutmaster recommended this project to me, so I just decided to. Like the old project I was pursuing was also like they didn't get back to me, so I had to choose a new one. And my Scoutmaster recommended this one to me, so then I accepted it.
Okay. And when do you hope to get started with the project? I know this is the first thing we have to approve, and it's on town land, but are you hoping to complete it before the end of the summer, maybe into the fall? Not sure.
So my birthday is on November 30th. So
Happy birthday.
I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the summer. It might go into fall, but it shouldn't go that much into fall.
Okay. Great. So Patty, are we going to get it up or not?
No.
Okay. So Matthew, if you could maybe, we do have your slides, but if you want to pull them up for yourself and step us through what you're planning to do, and we can follow along ourselves, I'll turn it over to you to step through, schedule and how you plan to assemble. Do you need additional help from, other volunteers? If you could just maybe step us through your vision for it all, that'd be great.
We all have them, so if you pretend
Yes.
we're looking at what you're
Yes,
looking at
go
on your
ahead.
screen,
We have your
we'll
slides.
follow along.
Okay. And so my main points are there's like the overview. I have the overview, like what the project is gonna be, what I need from you guys, and like why we're gonna do this, and safety. So I don't want anyone to get injured, like while building it, and like when they're just like sitting on it or something. And okay, yeah. So what I intend to do, so I intend to build picnic tables at Elliott Park since the old one was crushed by a tree during like the storm, I think. And also intend to clean up trash and remove invasive species at the park. And as for the picnic tables, I'll build 3 of them, and they'll be unanchored. And yeah. So construction, the material will be cut in my house, and I intend to assemble them at Elliott Park. Alright, so why? So the picnic tables provide somewhere for people to sit if they're like tired or they just want to enjoy the park. And I think I remember sitting with my friends on the old picnic table in 8th grade, like after school was finished, and I was eating pizza with my friends. It's like, yeah. So now we have like a mock-up of what I intend to do. So I'm not really sure where to put them right now, but I don't think that's that necessary, because since they're not anchored, we can just move them around after we're done making them. And yeah. So the benches, so as for safety, the benches will be built to mimic the benches in the town common, so that they meet safety and quality standards. Since the town common is also owned by the town of Winchester, I think it's safe to assume that those benches are safe. And the troop also has adults with engineering backgrounds who can help ensure that I meet the safety and quality standards. Alright, so indemnity forms. So we intend to make everyone who works on the project sign an indemnity form. And to ensure that everyone does, we'll have a list of people who did it properly, and before letting them work on the project, we'll just check that they actually signed it.
Great.
I know you had like Actually, never mind. I forgot the question. You asked
No,
the question at the beginning.
One question I had is, do you intend, I don't know if it's the same one, but you're going to assemble, you're going to create the, cut the wood at your house and then assemble at Elliott Park. Do you think you're going to do them one at a time, like build a table, put it on Elliott Park, or do you plan to sort of deliver them all at the same time?
I think I'm going to deliver them all at the same time, but yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, Beth, if there's any need, I don't think we have any events scheduled for Elliott Park between now and the start of school, but if there is, I'm going to make sure that you're coordinating with the town manager's office or DPW. If you need, parking, or if you need to sort of like make sure you get close to the curbs, you don't have to lug things far, just coordinate with us on the date or dates that you're doing that. We'd hate to have you show up and right now there's utility work. There's certainly work going on Pond Street right now. I'm sorry, Lake Street.
Lake Street.
So when you're close, please let us know so that you're not parking too far away or caught up in the middle of someone's construction project. That would be important. Do you have, you're going to have people signing the forms. Do you need the Conservation Commission or do we know who's going to be the actual kind of beneficiary? Is it going to be the Concom of these benches or DPW, or is that our decision?
No, I mean, I think they'll be town property once the work is complete, which would be DPW, not Concom.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have questions for Matthew?
Thank you.
No?
No, thank you very much.
This looks
Thank you.
great. So we will take an official vote to approve that work at Elliott Park, so don't leave until we do that. And then as you move forward in building the tables and you're close to delivery date and you're close to when you think you want to install them, please do reach out to the town manager's office to make sure that there's, the space is available, no one's there, and it's not in the midst of some other project. And we'll also want to look for maybe a window of when you plan to be there between 10 and 2, you plan to be there in the morning, the afternoon, in case our DPW, crew wants to meet you there or just help with, placement. Just make sure we know that.
All right.
Okay. Any questions, Beth?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Make a motion?
So, motion to approve the Eagle Scout project for Elliott Park improvements.
Second.
All those, any discussion? I would think not. Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Thanks, Bill. Congratulations, Matthew. Go right ahead. You get that approval. Thank you. All right. Next up, we'll have the treasurer and comptroller come up if you could. We have two actions, general obligation bans, and then we have unexpended bond proceeds. So, and it's a really lengthy vote we have to take here. I know it's printed off, but you want to step us through? I know it's a few different packages, a package of projects. If you could step us through what these bans are.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. There was a shorter vote that was emailed.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, okay, I hope she's
There it is.
here.
I'm just looking. I know.
This is part of the.
Okay.
It's the agenda.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Need to make sure we get it right.
So some of the projects on the bans that you're voting on tonight are actually from last year's ban. So the first three projects are the Woodside Road Pumping Station engineering, $150,000. The South Reservoir Dam improvements at $6 million. The Lynch Elementary School traffic improvements at $2.5 million. The newer projects that are on this ban are $1.5 million for the Woodside Road Pumping Station remodeling, and the Cambridge Street Water Systems improvement, that's $800,000. So it went to bid, and it was awarded to Fidelity Capital Markets. The coupon rate was 4%, the net interest rate came in at 2.9, and they were awarded.
Okay.
Oh, and the total, sorry, $10,950,000
So these will flip on to permanent borrowings
eventually.
in a year?
I was going to ask
It's-
that. 2 years?
It
They're
depends.
different?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to, and I don't want to derail us here, but can you just explain the approach to me? So I know we've been doing this this way for a long time. So we take Lynch, just take a project, Lynch
Sure.
traffic. So we have an authorization from 2023 on it.
Yep.
We obviously haven't delivered the project yet. So is that why we
Correct.
haven't? Why don't we just
That is
place
why
the
we
full-
have not permanently borrowed
Yeah,
it
good.
yet.
We do the short-term borrowing until the project is complete, or we're at a point where we know what the final
Number's
project
gonna be?
costs are,
Right.
and then we permanently borrow the
Do we have a view though? Let's just suppose that we had 2.5 and it's just sitting there, and the whole project's going to be 5, and we have another 2.5. Do we ever just flip the 2.5 onto a placed bond as opposed to carrying on a band for 2 or 3 years, or do we just never carry them for that long?
We typically short-term borrow for projects during kind of engineering, like we'll take Woodside, for example, right? We short-term borrowed for the engineering, knowing that we were going to have another borrowing authorization for the construction. And so the engineer work's not complete, but we renewed that ban, and then we'll do a permanent borrowing with kind of the full.
But taking a project like Lynch, like how long would we have a number over $1 million sitting on a ban?
Well, at times we will, like a project like that, we have permanently financed along the way.
That's what I'm
because,
asking.
Yeah, we
But
have.
this project,
depending
this
on
is
the
just
market.
the Lynch traffic, which is a separate project from the bigger school
I'm talking about,
project.
of course, the 84 otherwise. I get, but what I'm asking what Stacy's getting at. So,
Yep.
so do we have some So what I'm saying is, obviously, bands are you actually got a great rate, by the way.
Cheaper, yeah.
Yeah, but just in terms of they're not a long-term solution. So if projects take a long time, we have a way of saying we're going to sort of pull the ripcord.
We
more
take
than once.
the recommendation from Hilltop as to whether we should go
Okay,
out and
that's what I'm
permanently
asking.
finance or if we should carry it on a ban again, just
Okay.
depending on the timing. Yep.
And so in this mix of projects, there's, half a dozen or so, there's going to be a combination of maybe, 6 and 12-month bans, potentially 24-month.
These are all
ban.
12-month.
They're all- yeah, they're all-
But they
they're all
might
for
go.
one
But
year.
you can flip
You
them
could
again.
renew
You
it,
can
yeah.
extend
I
them.
can,
go to 2
yeah,
years.
we can flip it again.
Okay.
Not
Well,
me. The
interest
town
rate,
can
interest
flip
rate
it
risk,
again.
but you can.
Yes.
flip it.
Right, and then at some point we have a pay down if we keep renewing the ban, but we try to kind of permanently borrow before we get to that point. Yeah.
Okay.
So tonight I come before you to,
Accept it.
Understood.
Move that we vote to approve the issuance of $10,950,000 general obligation bond anticipation notes dated July 18th, 2025, and to execute any closing documents related thereto.
Any additional discussion for Anne or Stacy? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and then next up is unexpended bond proceeds. We do have a memo from Stacy, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's a combo probably from Ann.
Ann and Stacy?
Ann, town manager, and the assistant town manager, just
Yes.
because we started looking at and getting concerned with any balances that were sitting on the books from projects that were kind of lingering. We did an arbitrage calculation for one of the borrowings. I think it was 2016's borrowing. I'm sorry, 2021's borrowing, which luckily it resulted in
We're in
no
good
liability, which was excellent. We were kind of
That
in
was
shock
the-
about that.
That was the Lynch.
Yes, yes.
Morocco, sorry, Morocco.
It was
Morocco culvert.
high school, North Reservoir Dam, and the Morocco repairs, yep. So we came across a bunch of projects, not a bunch, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that were less than 50,000, and the DOR came out recently with some new guidelines about how you can handle unspent bond proceeds. And these are a result of us borrowing. We probably went out and borrowed for the project all at once. I don't think we did bands and we waited. I think we just said, okay, it's going to cost us the full amount, but it seems as though we might have underestimated or overestimated the cost. So we have listed here the VO, the Squire Road pumping station, drainage improvements, Skillings Fields, and the synthetic field, McCall Phase 1, the Sawmill Brook, and then the transfer station. So these are all things that are under $50,000 that we're allowed to have the select board vote and approve just to apply this balance or these balances to debt service in the future. So that's what we're here to do tonight, is to get rid of these. Let's get rid of these balances. We don't want them hanging around any longer. We do have other balances that are greater than 50,000, which we are evaluating.
Got my question already, yeah.
We are evaluating. We want to make sure they're complete, and we want to evaluate them, and we can repurpose them at fall town meeting for similar like projects that have the same life and are from, I think it's the same Mass General Law as well. because some of them are Chapter 44, Section 7, some of them are Section 8, some of them kind of all over the place. I shouldn't say all over the place, but there's a lot of different sections inside those sections.
So DOR, the 50,000 cutoff is actually a select board versus town meeting
It
distinction?
is.
Interesting.
Yep. And they don't really, I don't know that a lot of communities have done this yet, because I've asked, okay, what's the mechanism? Do we book a transfer from these funds to the general fund and we just pay the debt service? Or do we pay the debt service directly out of these funds? And legal didn't get back to me with an answer, and our accounting representative didn't really have an answer. So I just told our accounting rep that I'm going to transfer them to the general fund, add it to our debt service budget, and then we'll have $128,000 of relief in our FY26 budget for this. So that's where we're at.
Do we want to put it in the debt service budget? Or do you want to put it in capital?
No, it has to go, well,
Oh, it
this
has to
has to go to the debt service. You're approving to pay debt service, and we can just use this money to pay the next round of debt, which we've got October payments and January payments, I think even some December payments. And then at fall town meeting, we can analyze, okay, do we want to release that 128 out of the debt service budget that was there originally and then reclassify it somewhere else for other needs? Or we can leave it and it will close to fund balance. It's sort of a decision that we can make when we get there.
And we'll be talking fall town meeting articles pretty soon, like
Yeah,
certainly
geez.
in August. But let's think about what some of the options are for us. Now, the question I was going to have is for the balances that are just above 50,000. So between now and fall town meeting. So not tonight's pool of bond proceeds, but other projects that are near closure or almost closed, or they might spend down some between now and November. Do we need to, like, what's the mechanism to go before town meeting?
That's
and how
just
many?
another article.
Yeah.
So what our current, what project manager Meg does with Mark and a bunch of us all kind of get together and talk about what projects are done, what are the balances, they confirm them with me, make sure there's no encumbrances. We basically just go through the list, like what can we use, and the discussions at the capital table as well.
Yeah.
But it would be just an article at fall
So
town
you'll
meeting.
often see in the capital article, the funding source is the stabilization fund or a remaining
Unspent
balance
proceeds.
from an
Okay.
How much money is there in the larger?
There's probably about a little over $1 million in these other projects.
Some of them are water and sewer, so they.
Yeah, we've got,
yeah, a lot
the
of
biggest
them
one
are
is
water and sewer.
470,000 of the North Reservoir Dam.
So does that have to go to water and
No.
sewer related to go back to anything?
I think it just needs to match what the life of this debt is. I believe that's the specific instance. And then the other big one is a Wildwood drainage for 188,000.
Okay. So we'll take an action tonight on balances under 50,000.
Yep.
And then we'll take some action in the fall on some other balances that we're comfortable are fully closed and we don't have any risk of a new bill coming in. Okay.
Because Morocco was on this list, but
Yes.
then we decided that it's going to be used.
A lot of it will. There might be something left, but we'll know something maybe by November, right?
A topic for discussion, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. It's, we don't always have visibility to what's going in and out of these projects, but it's indication of how well our team is working, that these low balances, have accrued there over time, and they add up and they're substantial for us, but for these large projects, they're, really de minimis, so it's nice to see that we're really keeping very careful track of everything, and we've got a little bit of money coming back on the debt service side, so thank you.
We're
Appreciate
trying
it.
to go through all of the funds. It's a huge task because there's hundreds of like special revenue funds. Most of them are restricted. Most of them have a purpose that we can't just use for whatever we want. But I do want to mention, I know this is off the debt topic, but the hospital gift fund gave money to all these little projects, and I'm come to find out we haven't spent that money. So I'm going to be sending money back to the hospital gift account, like 23,000 I think it is. But I'll let you know at the next time I'm here. Same thing with the Select Board Housing Fund. They funded, this board had funded little projects, and they weren't fully spent, so they're going to be closing back. So there's going to be a little bit of remnants.
So there's these, on our balance sheet, you have a lot
Yep.
of these special items, right?
Yep.
And so the question is, would it be helpful to have some kind of resource, whether it's some additional spend with our auditor to help you identify? Because I appreciate you have a million jobs.
Yeah,
you
the
personally.
auditors,
So
I mean,
they're not that. No.
they're not going to get, the issue is that we have these gifts. The problem's gifts. Donors give money for specific purposes, and we don't spend it all. And then we've got to track down the donor from 20 years ago, because some of this stuff, I ran a report of all the stuff that hadn't had activity in 3 years. Only 3 years. Like, that's not going back very far. there's a lot of funds that had no activity in the last 3 years. And so we don't know where these funds originated. Some of them are over 20 years old. We'd have to go and dig through the select board's acceptance. I don't know how diligent we were back before I started with having the select board accept every gift that comes this way. I'll tell you, when I started, they weren't. Every time we got a gift, I'd have to ask, did the select board accept this? And that's the routine. They're supposed to accept it. And the same thing on the school side. The schools committee is supposed to accept gifts. So the record should be in the select board minutes of what these gifts are. In any special program, I found a couple old FEMA grants that normally we spend the money first out of the general fund, and we put the FEMA money in the special revenue fund. It just sat there probably for 20 years. It should have just gone into the general fund because we'd already paid the bill. So there's those kind of funds. And another fund that we're going to close is I segregated ARPA interest just to make sure that we didn't need to spend it, because the federal government has been changing their regulations every day. Right. So we've got a couple $100,000 that I'm going to close to the general fund for that. So this year we'll see a few things that are closing that have been sort of set aside, just A, because we haven't had time to really look into it, or B, because I was nervous about ARPA.
Our net interest at 26. It'll close.
I'm going to close it at the end of June this year. It's going to be FY25 closed.
Officially closed the end of July.
The reason I'm raising, you can tell why I'm raising this, right? Which is the change under the couch cushion starts to be $1 million, $2 million over time, right? And it's one-time money.
Well, it's certainly not that much, but
no, but across but you said the north of $50,000 capital piece, and the largest share of that was North Reservoir Dam was itself $1 million, right? So that's the
Yep. And I'm just curious, Stacy, is there and we don't have to get into the details tonight, but for those special revenue accounts where the donor is hard to track down, the money exists, and maybe there's a threshold at which we're not saying chase down the last $15, right?
Yeah.
But what is the process? Do we have to go to probate court? Do we have to go to?
I think we have to go to court, and we could just list. I think we could list, like,
Yes.
when's the last collection?
universities do this with their endowments.
They
right?
must,
Yeah,
because
that's
we're
what they're
sitting
doing.
here, it's frustrating. I even asked the DOR, are you coming out with any regulation, like under a certain amount of money, we can just close it? Because people don't care about the $32 that are sitting in an account that we are not allowed to
We
close.
could go and do 100 of them together.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yes,
thinking from
exactly.
a more that going to a state of the town type activity, which
Yeah.
is, whether that's maybe not between now and fall town
I think
meeting, but
Karen
maybe it's
mentioned
within
that.
this fiscal year.
I'm pointing
or-
at Karen, she was
Karen
sitting here the last time I was here.
Karen Connor.
Yeah, she had
Right.
emailed about all the special funds
Yeah.
that were on the books, and
Or maybe it's like there's a 2-year, 3-year plan,
Yeah.
and you try to knock
Exactly,
off 30
exactly.
a year, right?
Do we need
have
town
a
meeting
sequence.
action on that, or no?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just once we find out that we either can't, we've done our research, like what I've done is just gone through all of the funds to see when the last time we've had activity and when were the deposits, maybe to give us some time frame to look. And, and we can just start there and just make a list, and I don't think.
I guess I would love to give Stacy a resource to because going through the 20-year-old select board.
I wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, we'd have to have somebody do it.
But that's also not
We
the
have a
best
summer
use of
intern,
your
at least for
time.
now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interns.
We do.
Have a contract accountant who can, just to.
I mean, I don't know if Grace can do another day from Mike Day's office. She can come and hang out.
You come to my office.
But I think Paris is right, like a resource to do it, because, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth your time? Let's solve for the time problem, but let's think about, within this order of magnitude, both size, age, effort. I think we try to package them in
Definitely.
30 funds at a time, and we have a plan to sort of, there's, within 2 years or 3 years, we try to sunset what we can.
Yeah.
And then maybe we have a tracking mechanism where at some point now there's another fund that's now 12 years old. When we started, it was 10 years old. So how do we get on that list?
Yeah.
But I think it's probably the revenue work streams, Paris, so I'll be following up between one of us.
I didn't mean to
And should we
redirect
put
that
language?
discussion.
And should we put language in our gift? I'm looking at the
That's
one from
sunset
Jennifer
them.
Murphy that says,
Yes.
or other,
Yes.
or other associated uses. Like if you dissolve a nonprofit in the Commonwealth, you have to pick the closest thing to it and then
Yes.
send a form to the AG's office. Interestingly, not the Secretary of Commonwealth, but it's the AG's office, and they sign off on it.
We have that perfect example. We have a youth services gift on the books. We don't have a youth services
Department.
or program anymore. So
Rec.
it's just sitting there.
But I think that's a good point. And we talked about with the CPA when we were doing this planning work last summer on making awards for CPA, that we learned in talking to other communities that making an award to do whatever, a bell tower, a bridge, a historic project in some other town. I don't know which town it was, might have been Belmont. might have been kind of the Cape, I forget. But they said one thing we didn't do when we started was have a sunset provision in our town meeting votes. So we're awarding you money to do X, to do a bridge, to do a tower, to do a flagpole. If you don't spend the CPA money within 18 months, or you don't spend it within the project duration, it will close. It will sunset, because they have to go back to town meeting and get $40,000 from this project. And so we should maybe take gifts that say the gift to go here or otherwise, as long as the donors are good with that. And then we should just have an easier way to sunset.
I think that's what the school is doing now, because they get tons of gifts and programs from ENCA and WSA, like a whole different programs, and they're adding a sentence to say, if we don't completely use it for this, is it okay for us to use it for that? And there's, I don't know if that's in every single one,
but I just think it's a good lesson. I wouldn't have thought of it for the CPA, but we should just get in that habit of, as we get money, or we give money in the case of the CPA, because we don't want to have those kinds of funds tied up for 3 years if the project may not get off the ground. Let's just put some durations to things. So, okay.
So
I know we're a little far afield of your
No,
unexpected.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I've been here for 12 years and wanted to do it since I got here.
I think this is actually really important. You triggered an important discussion.
Yes. So with that, though, I think we can probably make a motion. We're not going to not approve.
Move that we repurpose unexpended bond proceeds under $50,000 in the total amount of $128,445.58 as provided in the July 14th memo.
Same.
Any additional discussion? Okay. All those in...
Add something to your motion.
Yes.
To FY26 debt service.
To FY26 debt.
Thank you, sorry.
Second. Okay. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So this could be like the happiest, shortest Winchester Center Station update ever.
It's open.
It's open.
There it is.
Layaway Road open today. Ribbon cutting ceremony Wednesday at 11 o'clock for
Wednesday at
the
11.
station. The MBTA will have some final punch list work going on over the summer, but I think for the most part, you can now walk from the town common straight into the station, which is a nice thing to do.
And Beth, do we expect the punch list, will they give us hopefully a few days' notice if they need to sort of close the sidewalk, or we'll see?
I don't know exactly. It may be that they just have a contractor, out there for a few hours during the day, and there's a limited impact. I think they have some bird netting to put in under the underpass at Waterfield, so that maybe is a full day of parking lot closures. But I think it'll probably
It'll feel a little bit more like details and sort of site-specific work, not a closure again.
No,
we don't expect Laraway to go back.
maybe
out
some
of
parking
use.
spaces closed here or there on Laraway especially, but not a full. I mean, now that I've said that, I don't expect a full road closure at any point again.
We'll try to keep the public informed if it does happen, but we don't expect it. Okay.
Do we have a timeline on the bus returning to its previously located bus stop?
In August,
I
it
think
said.
that
There
would
is,
be
yes.
It said
I was gonna say
agency,
September,
late
but
August or something.
maybe by Labor Day, but yes. Okay. So, and if anyone's watching, which they may not be, but anyone involved in the T planning from, 15 years ago, if you're free Wednesday at 11, please show up. A lot of people had a lot to do.
Yes. It's a long
Lance
time coming.
Grenzbach, Beth Rudolph, engineer, right? The members of the community, historical commission, planning board. We had a lot of folks, so nice to see it done, and nice to see it working.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
great. Okay, next up is the CPA projects update. We have a list of projects that were submitted for last week's deadline, the July 7th deadline. I know the WCCP is looking for select board support for projects on town land, and there are some that are on town land. There are some that are not. But I know I had some questions, but I'm going to just turn it over to the board if there are some questions on, what the projects are. And then I'll invite Mr. Miller, if he wishes to come up to the table, and I want to understand the sequence of when you want approvals from us. But I think I'll start with if anybody has questions on the project, because I know I do on some of them.
I have a factual question. Are all the projects listed on the bottom of page 2, page 11, projects for which we would need to issue a letter because we have care and control?
Evening. The spreadsheet that I think Christina sent in has 15 projects on it, all of which are on town property.
This is 14.
Yes.
All right, 14th.
Yeah,
Is it the exact same list?
it's
Yes.
the same list.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It is.
And so is that a yes? You would need a letter for the select board for any one of these? Even the school
that one's
ones?
off.
That's what they're working on.
Oh, I know, I see which one's off, the,
Yeah, I know what
yeah,
Yep.
that one's off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, say again?
You would need a letter from the select board to advance any one of these? That's a question.
So I think the best way to think about it is the process we're underway now is a diligence process, right? Trying to get together information packages in each one of these applications to be sure it has all the information and requirements, legal and otherwise, buttoned up into a folder for each one. And so for those that are on town land, what we need, we believe, is a letter signed by the select board or Beth and the select board, whoever, that says that this project as proposed is okay with the select board. And then we'll approve it based on its merit to the town, but the approval to do the project on the land is merely backup that, you know, once the project starts, no one comes and says, hey, what are you guys doing? Right? So.
Okay. I think that's a yes, then. To do any of these, they would need ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could choose to approve them as a slate, too. So I have two questions, but I'm going to go last. I'm going to go to Anthea. Or actually, Bill, do you want to start? Do you have any questions on the CPA projects or this approval that the WCCP seeks?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a question or a comment, but I think at this time, I'm not really sure what we're being asked for, but if it's a blanket approval, I mean, I think these are all good intentioned projects that have good merit to them. I'm a little hesitant to go one by one and say, like, if we're in favor or against them. That seems a little premature at this point in time. But I got no problem saying that if any of these were to pass through the CPA committee and pass through town meeting, they should be getting select board support for sure at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if I just, we've all going through this for the first time, so the words that we choose are interesting. So I'm not sure we want select board support in the sense that we like that project, but I know what we need is select board approval that the project can be undertaken on town land.
Yep.
Right, so.
Okay.
David, I'm sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying. I heard some.
What David is, he's saying they don't seek support as in we recommend favorable action. They seek approval to proceed, approval to work on town land. That's what they seek from us. I'm not sure that I know enough tonight about the projects to say that I would approve, but I want to come back to that, David, around what more will we know in August when the next round comes up?
We can, I mean, you guys are advisory at town meeting, right? Ultimately, they're the ones who have to approve.
Yeah, we'll
these
give a
projects.
punt
And
of
so we
rank
can
order.
give them, this is more of a perfunctory approval to say we're okay with you exploring it. You guys are going to debate it, do your ranking, et cetera. It'll go on the warrant. We could take a position then on each project, right?
Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with broad approval for moving these forward at this point, so.
Do you need, so there's a mix of who the proponent is here. Some of them are town offices like DPW and Rec, and some of them are town organizations. And I mean, is there a presumptive, like, do we need to approve the DPW and Rec department presented projects? Because assuming that those have gone through.
So I can just kind of briefly kind of give you an overview that several of the projects, certainly all the ones that the DPW have put forward, which are a mix of town hall itself as well as school building projects, which are projects that the school committee has put forward to capital. And then the Rec department, those are all projects that have gone forward to the capital planning committee. And so in the interest of maybe trying to pool some funds or explore options to jointly fund projects, we had the department submit them as part of the CPA process. So certainly, like the school committee, for example, has endorsed the Lincoln School projects. I think, and Nick has done a lot of exploratory conversations with them about, for example, the Mystic School Playground Improvement Project, and I think their school committee will be taking a vote on that project.
Yeah, that's the one I think I have the biggest concern with, is the Mystic School Playground improvements, given what We know that there was a multi-sport court that town meeting approved. We went through a lot of meetings and conversation to get heat improvements in that building. So that would be the one that I'm happy if the board says perfunctory, let's explore. But that is truly not under our care and control.
And Nick is well ahead of that issue with the school committee.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think my question would be both now and also long-term in needing, this is on town-owned land, but are things like rec department, DPW proposals that are on town-owned land, do they really require us to say, yes, the select board approves this project?
As in
so
if
we're
it came from the
forward
town.
versus it's come from the
It's
town. and
inherently-
so it's,
sort of inherently
we're
approved.
going down a circular,
Yeah.
circular process.
And I think you said something about that was, because I had the question just in looking at this, because when we met, we had Christina here, we talked about select board priorities, we highlighted as a body 164th Street and Borgard Beach. And I know at that time, you didn't say, oh, and we intend to bring, let's say Lincoln School flat work, because it's in the exterior of a historic building. So I didn't see the context for that, though I think we all understand the project. But you're saying that this is there because we're trying to leverage both CPA and the capital cycle?
Well, I think
can?
our understanding at the staff perspective was that if we didn't submit an initial application, there was no opportunity to really even have the conversation.
Okay.
Right? About whether there could be CPA funds. So we just took the initiative to submit these as CPA applications. Now, maybe the conversations end up that we're not putting any CPA funds towards any of these projects, but we at least wanted to have it on the table so that it could be part of the conversation.
And this isn't to put you on the spot, but I was just, when I was looking at this and then reading a report, was given that there wasn't enough money in the library roof project to do the clock tower, why didn't we put that on the list? Because this is a historic building that we
Sure.
had an alternate for.
No, I think we were still kind of pinning down the cost estimate for that, but that certainly could have been a possible project that we could have submitted as well. Yep.
Well, can I?
Go ahead. No,
Yeah.
that was my
And
question.
maybe they would be open to a late comer to the process, possibly. I don't know.
Will you accept tardy homework?
No.
So the comment
Enough of an ask here.
The comment I want to make is actually just taking Michelle's point. And first, I agree with, I think Bill and Mike both said that I think I'm comfortable advancing these to you because you're not asking us for endorsement. We have other chances to make our opinion felt as opposed to just giving the blanket saying we're comfortable with these to WCCP for you guys to do your ranking and evaluation. The broader point I'll make, though, and I've said this at the State of the Town table, which is a version of the Select Board table, not quite the same, is that school committee, and I sent this to you guys earlier for this purpose to make this point, school committee does sit and debate for a whole session their capital ranking, right? And so they go through asset by asset and say, here's what we want as our top priority, our second priority, our third priority. They've always interpreted the seat that they appoint as sort of their representative to that committee. The language around the 3 select board seats is identical in the way that the charter is written, but we don't give them a document that says here's the select board ranking of the town assets, recreation or DPW or whatever else. And I think that to me is, potentially, Michelle, where the piece is on the town hall. It's not just CPA. It's also having a coordinated list of what we think the priorities are for capital planning as well, in addition to CPA. Because schools can refer back to a single master list that they've debated with their management, with Dr. Hackett and with Mr. Marin.
Right.
And I would think we should try to get there.
And carve out time to do it.
Carve out time to do it. I mean, they're about to enter the capital cycle now, right? And
Just started, right?
It just
Last
started.
week?
Not even. They don't even have the whole project list back, according to the email traffic with the CPC, 2 of the CPC members over the weekend.
So we could look to see, and we have another meeting on the 28th, we could look to see if we wanted to take the list that the town has presented, run it up against our own selves, because, as we talked about CPA, thinking we weren't trying to stuff the ballot box, right? And we wanted to, in affordable housing with 164 is a project that town meeting knows. Borgard Beach, a prominent resource in the center of town. We didn't go down the list of, because we know that Lincoln Flat Work and HVAC need some help, but maybe we should carve out some time on the 28th to look at that list. Maybe they're already through the capital process. Some projects have already been presented, but let's see if we're aligned. whether, we rank or what's our importance
Can
and
I pro-
advocacy.
Can I propose, we were supposed to do some goal planning that session, but have moved it on account of my schedule. But if we did want to use that time that we had originally planned, we could use that time for capital and just sort of bust that out early.
We can
So with
poll
this-
the group and see if we, starting at 5:30 or 6.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. As far as the exercise for the WCCP, they are, in the due diligence phase, as David had said, right? So I think if I was an applicant, I would kind of like want to know where we were, or if they go through all of that and then we say, now we don't want to give authority to this and kill the project. So, I do think we
I'm
need
not
some
gonna kill
sort of
anything in this.
preliminary.
That was the first thing I said.
vote.
I think
Yeah.
we should.
Right. Well, I
we
think we need to vote on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
making I'm using this as to make a broader point.
Yep.
I think that I would say that, and I think you said this too, Mike, that we should give David and the committee the authority to debate and rank these projects
With a vote. Yep.
like tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our diligence file, we'll make reference to whatever vote's taken tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for specific projects like 164, as we've already endorsed it, but the Affordable Housing Trust, who has moved that forward, doesn't have the authority to actually do it, right? So,
We own the land.
so
Yep.
if they're kind of hanging out there wondering what we're doing and we don't have direction, I think we always assumed that we would be kind of co-sponsoring that, but it didn't happen that way, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's my concern, is that everybody knows that their hard work is moving forward.
Well, so we can do, there's sort of three. One is like the perfunctory approval of the list to allow CCP to do their work. Another question is, and then the third point is the point I just made about the broader prioritization of capital projects. The middle point, and this is maybe what you're getting at, Mike, is do we want to issue a letter of endorsement for a couple of them now? Like 160 Forest. I would be open to that because we did debate two at this table. But I appreciate other people may not want to.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think we should.
Like,
Yeah,
I think the 160 Forest
Yep.
makes a lot of sense given our previous town meeting action on that.
I would ask the group to endorse Beauregard.
Yep.
I mean, I think I think we should. I just think we're gonna, like, there's a lot of things here. You say what we should endorse, and don't want to either.
I
I don't want to
hear
pick
you.
favorites on it, but
I hear you.
I agree that it would have been, I think, good if we had in the first place had a signatory or something on the 160 Forest to say that that's a critical project for us.
But Michelle did ask us to come with projects.
Yeah.
I think Michelle and Mike met on
Yeah.
160 Forest. Michelle and I met with a group of people on Beauregard. We brought it to this table, debated it. So
And we did ask Christina to,
and with Christina here. Yeah.
Yeah, we went around and identified what our priorities were, and those were
Yeah.
the ones that came out. And so
Yeah.
I think it was just the function that we weren't moving them forward, but they were getting moved forward. And
We could issue a letter of endorsement.
I think we should. Yeah.
to Paris's point, we can take a vote to approve all of them, at least, and approve to move forward. We can take a vote to particularly endorse the two of those projects. And then we can have time later in July to look at broader capital projects that are on this list and beyond around prioritization for us, that are not going to be CPA eligible, all of them. That's the whole point of having a capital plan. They won't all be CPA eligible. So I will say, I'm good with that. We can sequence the motions in a second. I am not behind, I'm going to go good with Mystic School, but I think, let's see how far that gets and the disposition of that building. But let's endorse the slate. I'm good with that. I am concerned about investing in an asset that we don't control to that kind of money.
Yeah, we're not voting favorable.
And I know it's
unfavorable
town
on it.
meeting's vote anyway.
Yeah,
So-
but we'll have
the end of the
a point, I think, to kind of have that conversation on that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get in the way of the
Yep.
first action for tonight.
Okay.
But that's the one that jumps out.
That's
to me
more
as-
of almost like a regulatory approval, quasi, right? Yeah.
So, David, is a vote sufficient, or do you want a written letter.
What's the second choice?
Is a vote sufficient, or do you request a written letter?
I think the vote's sufficient, particularly at this stage, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't make anyone write a letter that you don't need to write.
Thank you.
So move that we indicate support of the 14 proposed CPA projects on Town of Winchester land.
Second.
Okay. Any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great. So that's your approval on town land, David, and maybe now we'll get a little deeper into our enthusiasm.
Do you want me for this?
No, you can stay there, but you can share the motion.
So I will move that the board writes a letter in support of the Affordable Housing Trust project at 160 Forest Street and authorize the chair to sign on the board's behalf.
Second.
Okay. Any additional discussion on 160 Forest? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And move that the board writes a letter in support of the Beauregard Beach restoration and authorize the chair to sign on the board's behalf.
Second.
Okay, all those in,
The
I need to hear it.
Beauregard Beach restoration, the second project on the list.
Okay.
any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm going to abstain from this one just because I don't know anything about this project other than the very general idea of what it is.
Okay. So I'll do a roll call vote then. Anthea?
Yes.
Paris?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. Bill, abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, so 4-1. So we'll get those letters. So maybe that in the next round of evaluation that you do, David, you'll have those from the select board. I won't commit to a date, but you'll have it soon.
Okay, very good.
And thank you for coming in.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you, guys.
David. Thanks
And thanks to
WCCP.
Christina and everybody else.
Appreciate it.
Yes, for doing the work. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're almost done, which is remarkable. And I actually do have a 175th anniversary update, which is, I didn't think I would, but committee updates. I'll start with Bill. Bill, any committee updates that external committees or liaisons you want to share?
Not at this time. Capital's kicking off their cycle. Planning board has been plugging away. No big initiatives at the moment.
Okay.
And I think you guys all know where state of the town and performance review stand.
Okay.
I would say the fields updates are primarily in what David just talked about, that
Yes.
you just saw. And then the committee on names, I believe we're just have one additional applicant that we can interview in the upcoming.
We can do them on the 20th. It's a whole school committee commissions on the talk to you guys about.
Okay.
I realized that everything else that was happening kind of got pushed to the side.
I love the speed at which the committee on names has just come alive.
There was no committee on names, and now
Yes.
we're nearly at a full-fledged
Big
committee on
NFL.
names, and going to have a meeting and plan an action and a warrant article. We're just going to 0 to 60.
Put people on the personnel board while you're at it. That's
You know,
not your problem.
I tried. I was there.
I think we all have.
I left.
Do you advertise the
We all
minimal
have.
commitment? It's the feature.
Thank you for that.
It's a feature.
PARS, State of the Town, which
State of
is
the town.
cranking along.
Yeah, I think this is something I think everyone's aware of, but we are getting to a point now, 2 months in, that there's some areas of analysis that are pretty baked. And I think what Michelle and I have talked about is that a lot of the areas that require a fiduciary board to, or whatever we want to call ourselves, an accountable board, are ours. Some are school committees over time too. And so what we'll do is we'll start sort of closing the items out at State of the Town and then bringing them to this table. So I think potentially operating reserves is one that could come, at some point soon. And so I think we'll start seeing the linkage back to this group. We're all technically there anyway, but back to this table here in the evening start to occur.
Yep, so I think the way I envision is, select board updates will be maybe state of the town actions and votes. This is probably how it's going to appear in the agenda, so actually specific votes. And we may decide in talking with Stacy and Ann is that another policy we have is closing out, funds and pursuing account closeouts or borrowing or, maybe, I don't want to get into ban issuance right now, but maybe we set some other select board policies, but not in one meeting. Some of these meetings will take a couple of cycles, I think, for everyone to understand what we're doing and what we're proposing, but we'll try to bring it to this table to make some policy decisions one at a time, not 5 at a time.
And then the only other, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. Sure.
The only other thing I'd say is it's communications, and we talked about this on Friday, but there's maybe somewhat more people watching this meeting. We're going to have a session on the 22nd and the 29th evenings. It'll be the same session twice in this room at 7 p.m. or in a room, potentially this room, at Town Hall at 7 p.m. We'll have a hybrid option available. So people who want to learn a little bit about that, the planning effort can do so. That has gone out to all town meeting members. I appreciate there are members of some of our committees and boards who are not on town meeting, so I think we welcome that group as well. From some of our other town, very active town volunteers who just happen not to be on town meeting. They're of course welcome to come too. Sorry, Mike.
Nothing right now. I was just going to say, it's a kind of a added benefit for us to be going through the state of the town process when we're have these other things that come up, and to set policy around that, so it'll be there, beyond the state of the town.
To persist,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and so it's helpful that we have that lens, because a lot of these things over the years, they tend to be a one-off thing, and then it just, we forget about it, or it gets neglected for whatever reason. We've got our eyes on other things, so it's helpful. So it's great to be able to do that.
It's an opportunity to develop good habits and predictable behavior, right?
Yeah,
which we can try to just actually write down.
Yeah, and to put to have some of that institutional memory be put into policy so it survives and is helpful in our planning process.
And the last thing I would ask you, Paris, so the 22nd is next Tuesday. So if you just think about who from the board, you want to have one of us. I know it's posted for all of us, but if you want some people in person, just think about, I know you can handle it on your own, I have no doubt, but if there's some, one or two, just give us a shout. I'm not leaving town in the next couple of weeks. So just think about that.
Sounds good.
On the spot. I don't know that I have any committee updates. Audit hasn't met. I didn't go to the chamber kickoff. It's restaurant week this week. If you didn't know, there was a kickoff event. I couldn't make it today, but there's restaurants around town are offering sort of meal discounts and things, first time ever. So that's exciting. That's one of my liaison roles. So I will stop there with committee updates, and then I'll pivot to the 175th.
Bill,
Oh, Bill started, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the 175th, I mentioned that I was talking with Hilda of the Historical Society. I always get my commissions right. Yes, Hilda Wangdu, of the sign outside. So the last report I gave you guys was she's going to go back and get some updated quotes on the sign itself, and then asking DPW's help to replace it. So we have updated quotes. Our contribution might be $1,000, $1,500. We're going to get some final prices that we thought we would use out of the hospital gift account, so we'll sponsor it with them. And I heard from Hilda over the weekend. We're going to do a walkthrough, ideally Friday morning. Bob got back. Beth and I are free to sit down with Hilda and walk outside and see what is the housing that it's in. If you had to replace it, does the plexiglass have to get replaced? Is the stand secure? What else might need to go into it? So I think DPW is going to be able to help us. And we're still targeting Spirit Weekend in September for the unveiling. But we're going to look on Friday to see how rusted things are, how, in addition to the actual map, what else needs to be replaced. That might cause some additional cost, but at least it's still trending where Hilda thought it would be, like under $5,000, and our contribution will be some portion of that. So we'll know more on Friday, and if I have updated prices, I'll come back to this group with it, but at least we're moving forward. And Bob's like, good timing. I was just looking at that sign the other day. So every 25 years, we can replace it. So that's my update on that.
Just a question on that, Michelle. That's great. Thank you for the update. I noticed walking in that the Winchester Town Hall sign in the front is
Got a little rough.
it got I don't know if it was vandalized or
Yeah, it does look a little
it looked
damaged.
like there was like either
Scratched across the
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Like, and banged up. So I don't know if we're in the sign research business at this point. I don't
You think
know.
we should be doing that too?
Well, I don't know how you fix it. I don't know. I mean,
I think we have to get a new one. The library one got hit not that long ago, so
Yeah.
I can look into how
So
they.
you think somebody hit it? Hit
The
the
one at the
drove.
library was hit,
downstairs, ours though.
not ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they had to replace it within the last few years, and I'm not sure how
yeah.
where they had it done.
It's hard to tell. Lance would know. He has the information probably to tell.
Yeah, we did it all as we had like a wayfinding
Yeah.
grant where we hired
Yes.
somebody and then we had it manufactured. So we'll have to kind of see how we can get it.
Yeah, the one in
one-off done.
the front. You just look. I can't tell what happened to it. It looks like Wolverine walked by and just went.
Yeah, it's got scratched.
Yeah.
Was it my
so-
4-year-old with a rock? Because that happened to our car this week.
Well, there you go. So,
But I agree. We should.
can
I
always
mean,
tie
it
this
just
to your-
it sort of it doesn't send the right message about the the way we're.
Well, let's do historic maps first, and then maybe we can take it offline and how to look at the other ones too. So, okay, that's my update. And we have a consent agenda to approve.
Move that we approve the consent agenda as posted for July 14th, 2025.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Aye.
yes.
Excellent.
No,
Thank
no.
you. Just give us some votes. Okay. Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Again.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, WinCam.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Spell.